Let's do it. What's going on, guys? It is Friday, March 21st?
21st.
That's right, 21st. What a long 3 weeks. This might be the longest open that I've ever been a part of. Even though it was only 3 weeks, I feel pretty exhausted from it. Yeah. Afternoon show. It's late. I don't think I've ever done a show this late. How are you guys?
Pretty solid. Can't complain.
Good. Lando?
Doing good. Just busy getting ready for off season.
Yeah.
Just working.
Yeah, busy over here for sure. What's up? What's up, team? What's up, Gus? Vicky, Trish, Camille, per usual. Corey, what's up? Yeah, I missed this morning. I was up till 2 a.m. programming, and I was like, man, I'm out. I just can't do it. I just can't. I can't. Nelson Slade is not a real name. It's probably not. It's a good one though. I remember when I saw it come into the like the programming, like when you applied for the job the first time, and I was like, that's not real.
And at some point you're like, yeah, Melons just sounds better.
Oh yeah. Can I change your name on here? No, I should be able to though. That's not fair. Oh, I can't edit your name. Perfect. All right. Cool. How are you guys? Good. Everything's good. What are you guys doing this weekend with no open?
I've actually just been training.
Yeah. How's your
I don't know if you're asking like the chat or asking us. I am helping some friends do some WFP workouts. I have a friend who's doing the last Torian workout, and then I'll be preparing for.
Oh, what is the last Torian workout?
It is kind of a spin-off the old or one of the open workout from like a couple years ago, like 23, which was all like 0.1, which was what 14 point something, but it's like a spin-off. So it's like 50 wall ball, 40 toes to bar, 30 snatches at 135.95 or 135.85, I think, and then 20 muscle ups, and it's a 10-minute AMRAP, and that goes right into
10-minute AMRAP.
Yeah, I mean it's basically like.
Well, I guess there's no row, so I mean that takes
no row. Yeah,
3 minutes of it. Yeah.
And then it's rest 1 minute, and then 5 minutes for max clean and jerk.
Okay. So 2 scores.
2 scores. Yep.
I like it.
Yes. They're doing that, and then I'm preparing for Crash Crescendo next weekend. So.
Is there a way for us to petition to go back to 135.95, or is that just fucking dead?
In terms of like compared to 135.85?
Yeah, 135.85 is fucking.
Yeah. I wonder if it was more just like everything's in kilos, so like they show the conversions and like.
No, no, it's because that's what's consistent with the open. That's what
Is
the open
it?
was this year. That's what the open was this year.
Was it? It was 135.85.
Yeah.
Like the clean and jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Or the power cleans.
Or that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Corey gets it. Monkey nuts.
Yeah, I do think that sucks. I like if in any situation, I'm always proponent for the girls to be lifting more weights.
I just don't like even from a percentage standpoint, right? Like what is that? 58%?
Like both my friends who did it this morning, who are both female, wanted it to be heavier because it's more of a separator if it's heavier, and they're both decent at that. But it's interesting.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
Okay. So why do we care what the women lift?
I think it's just, showcasing like they all are super fit and like should be lifting more because they can.
Yeah. I think it shows it's going to pull in a different athlete, right? Like it's consistent because it's same athlete to same athlete, female against female. So whatever the workout is, everyone does the same one. So it's there. But I mean, I think my thing is like named workouts are 135.95. Like that's the consistent of like our benchmarks. So anyways, this is what I thought it was, and someone told me I was wrong. I was like, all right. I thought it was just because you just load 25s and it's 85 pounds. So simplicity of loading. That's how I always looked at it. And then I don't know. I think
for me personally, it's even less about 135.85. It's more about like the heavier ones. Like a couple years ago in quarterfinals, it was like 315-205. And like that
was in the open. That was in that 16.2 workout.
Was it? Yeah, it was in. I mean, it was in quarterfinals too with like the it was like the rope climb one with pull-ups and muscle-ups and stuff. I mean, shoot, Trish, like, I mean, I'm out here advocating for the women. They all can lift super heavy. Like, they should be lifting heavier.
All right. So, all right, our topics today. I'm not fancy. I don't know how to like get topics up on the screen. Maybe someone can help me with that one day. But we're going to talk about, did the open work? Did it do what it's supposed to do? Did we like the test? Any changes we would make if they didn't do what they were supposed to do? What's next? And talk a little bit about the Community Cup, since everyone watching qualified for the Community Cup and probably not semifinals. But if you did qualify for semifinals and you're watching, kudos to you. All right. So we'll just kind of go like an overarching look. How did you guys like the open? Lando, I'm going to force you to talk, so you're the strong silence. So you're first. You're going to open up all of our conversations. How'd you like the open?
From doing it with like actually going to the gym and doing it like at a Friday night lights and being a gym owner before, like I thought it was great for that purpose. Right? Like when you like go to, it was just easy setups, didn't take too much space, heats flowed really well. So I think it did what it wanted to do and how he wanted to bring it back to the affiliate. So I think that purpose got it. I also think it did what it was supposed to do. Like the athletes who were supposed to make it to the games, there was no one that were like, they didn't make it because of the open workout, right? Like I don't see anybody in that place right now. So in theory, I thought it was good.
Okay. Cool. Wait, Nelson.
I don't know. I kind of disagree a little bit. I feel like on paper, outside of the context of the format of the season, it's a good open. The test mostly different things. I don't think there was anything heavy, which like kind of sucks. But I think on paper, first one, decent engine test. And like, you know, I thought the walking lunge honestly was like kind of cool. It's a little forgettable. Like I'm like still like thinking that workout's a couplet. The repeat's cool. I like, you know, like as we talked with UCJ earlier, like I would have liked to seen like maybe 23.3. But I think 22.3 was cool too. And I thought the last one was like pretty, I like it. I like from like a Friday Night Lights standpoint of starting on a row or ending on a row, or people getting really close to like finishing and like yelling at everybody. Like that's what the open's about. So I thought that was a really good third place workout. If we're talking about trying to find like the top 1%, I mean, obviously it doesn't matter in terms of the fittest. The fittest are always going to be the fittest. They're always going to be moving on. But like, you know, if we're trying to help like grow the sport and get more people into that 1%, I don't think it was like an amazing test of that.
Sure. So, and I'm not going to say I disagree or agree until it's my turn, but I'm going to challenge you. So how do you think it didn't do that?
Yeah. So specifically with the second workout, I feel like with that one, it's like negligible for the people at the top, and it's relatively negligible for people within that like 0.5%. It's a great test for the top 10%. You know, like bar muscle up capacity, thruster capacity. You know, there's some things to consider with like the lack of floor plans and like keeping things super tight. Obviously, it's like 5 feet needs to be separated from these things. I get that. And then with the last one, I mean, it's just something to where like I don't think that's a huge separator either. Like it's just, you know, I feel like if I'm giving them credit, like I'm always a proponent from a test standpoint of a 5-week open. Like I think that's just better. From a logistical standpoint, a gym standpoint, it's terrible and it's hard. And like, I get it. But I think that for the top 1%, it skewed towards a specific kind of athlete, leaving some other athletes out, which in terms of getting to the CrossFit Games doesn't really matter. In terms of like being a more well-rounded like battery of tests for that top 1%, I think that it missed out on something being heavy. I still think kind of it missed out on like gymnastics as a bottleneck. Like it was much more just like gymnastics from a density standpoint, which is another form of test, but like kind of missed out on like your much longer, like chipper style gymnastics that you see in like 23.1 or like, like that kind of thing. So yeah, like Eric said, add another round of 12 muscle ups, 185 thrusters.
I haven't seen this. I like that a lot.
I like it too. I mean, obviously you probably want to change the time cap a little bit, but I mean, yeah. And like, also, yeah, that's a huge point that I didn't even bring it up at all. 0 upper body pushing besides a wall walk. Which,
what? Hold on. What did you just say?
Not a whole lot of upper body.
The
pushing.
entire open was upper body muscular endurance.
Right. I mean, upper body muscular endurance, yes, but like not a lot of pushing. Like, which
did you go unbroken on the thrusters?
That's not the same though.
No, you're saying you're not saying it. Listen. You can. By the way, I want you to yell at me too. I don't want this to be me yelling.
No, for sure.
This was the most, in my opinion, the most drastic upper body muscular endurance or muscular strength open we've had in a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
But it didn't challenge vertical gymnastics. It didn't challenge a handstand push-up specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that to be fair,
like if you look at last year, right? Same dumbbell snatch, which I would argue is less than the dumbbell clean and jerk. No vertical pushing in workout 2, and then thruster bar, same workout, right? Thruster bar muscle up, right? And so 23 was the exception where everything was upper body pushing. But then if you go back to 22, you had deadlift burpee, right? And then wall walk. And so usually I would say it's kind of on par for the norm. Fair, yeah. There just wasn't a handstand. There wasn't a handstand push-up
for sure,
right? And so besides a wall walk, but to be fair, besides 21.1, it was the hardest wall walk workout, right? Like I think it was way harder than 22.1
for sure.
So
that's fair. Yeah. Okay. So maybe upper, like classifying it as just handstand push-ups, which I think is also maybe just like a little of my bias in there because I like handstand push-ups. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I think it's a good open for CrossFit and the affiliate and the average like person. I don't think it was a great test to find the top 1,600 in the world. For the games, it doesn't matter. Like the top 100, 200, it really does not matter what you give them.
But I think if you, so like, even if you add a strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who changes? Maybe 20 athletes, 30 athletes. You know what I mean? Like,
oh man, I mean, I think like
in the sense of like who matters, right? Like it's just gonna be who's at the top of the leaderboard. And I don't like saying it this way because it sounds like we don't care about the people going in 1%. But if you think about it from a standpoint, like, are you fit enough, right? Because in the real sense, like just because you're strong, obviously you have a weakness that didn't get you into that 1%, right?
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, like it's in terms of like the process of finding the fittest, like the fittest in the world did not get left out from this open. It's not what I'm saying, but it's just like, if we're like looking at all those like different fitness modalities that CJ put out a couple days ago, strength is obviously very relative, but like, I mean, I'm kind of like with Gus here, where it's just like that, like 800 to 1,600 range, I think changes a lot, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter for anything else. Like because they're not making individual semis, and they're not making the games from online semis. But just in terms of like trying to fit everything into one open, which maybe it's like a futile thing to try and do that. I think that it was lacking a little bit. And like, if I'm, we could talk about changing it later, but CJ,
you don't think that the 135 thruster could,
I mean, not
accomplish that in a like, not in the sense of it being a 1 rep max, but in the sense of being able to handle moderate lows, right?
I mean, moderate loads, right? But
because I saw people not, breaking up the 135. So are you strong enough if you can't push that 135 unbroken and do it fast? And you know what I mean? Like there's a that's breaking it down. That's a different, I mean, but like, but even so, it's 15 reps, right? Like it's, which I mean, at the end of a lot of dense gymnastics, sure.
but yeah, I mean,
I'm just playing devil's
no, for sure, definitely.
So this is my take specifically on. I love the workouts. I think they were really good, right? I didn't like 22.3 is the repeat solely for the goal of testing for top 1%. And as I went through, that was my push. But as I went through, I started to be okay with it testing for the top 1%. I started being less okay with it testing for specifically people going into Torian, people going into TFX, and people going into Syndicate, because not even Torian, because Torian added 2 scores. I don't care. It's fine. And it fits. Now it fits, right? Because I'm assuming they didn't write the workout until they knew all 3, and then they fit it and they made 2 scores. That's why they made 2 scores with, I would say, 135 snatch for 30 in the middle of something like that is a moderate to heavy barbell at that point in the workout. And they added a strength test to it. But for specifically for TFX and Syndicate to take those 3 scores from roughly 30,000 males and females, give or take, to 30, it's a miss. That's the miss. And that's my only problem. But to be fair, that's on TFX and Syndicate at this point. That's not on the Open. It's not the Open's job. That was their decision to do that. And they made that decision well before the Open. I'm assuming they're not going to make that again.
Taking 30?
Whatever the number is.
In terms of using the Open.
Using the Open without another test. I think Torian so far did it the best, right? Without using a completely different qualifier. Okay. And so then, because there will be people in TFX and Syndicate that cannot snatch 225 and 155.
Right.
Like they will not be able to do heavy Isabel at all. Right.
Yeah,
and so, but that happens every year. We say that as if it's new, but that happens every year in every regional, in every semifinal, where someone gets in and
see that
like, oh wow, this person's terrible.
Though? Or do we see that in quarterfinals? Like I don't know if we saw that.
We saw that in semifinals too.
Even like last
maybe not
year?
the past, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, what's her Sydney Wells couldn't do a muscle up with the fucking vest.
That was the next one. Yeah.
One. That's crazy. Right. What did Gus say here? If 50% of the people in affiliates are not strong, the strength is even less important. Yeah. And so for the in-affiliate semifinal, for finding the top 1%, it's not a big deal. This isn't true, Gus. I think that's only like the top whatever. I don't think that's actually super accurate.
Yeah,
maybe I'm wrong. Gus has a better memory than I do on that kind of stuff. But with that being said, at the top 1%, to no matter what Larry says, strength is still the foundation of being able to do well in the Open, but it's baseline strength. Like if you have enough strength to do the gymnastics, to squat the bar, to do wall walks, to cycle the barbell, to manipulate the dumbbell with ease, right? Strength is always going to be the foundation. Now, what we view as strength has progressively changed over the years, right?
Sure.
Top end strength is what we're referencing, but everyone here, you still need a baseline of strength to do basically every single workout RX, right? You can't movement efficiency your way over the bar if you can't do a strict pull up, right? Like it just isn't going to happen. So it would be sick, but it's just not going to happen.
It's weird how like his strength kind of at some point has become like capacity, and then it's finding what level.
Shift.
Yeah, like at what level is true strength.
It's very, very, very important to start if you want to RX the sport. For the CrossFit pyramid and CrossFit at its most purest form, metabolic conditioning is the base, right? But to do the sport, it's strength. It has to be strength because there's an RX and a scaled, right? Yeah. And all of those RX and scaled are either based on weight or movement, right? And the basis of those movements are all predicated on, do you have enough strength, even if you move like shit, to accomplish the movement first, right? And then movement efficiency and all that kind of stuff. Top athletes should have at least one open workout exposing something they're weak at. I don't know. I think in 3 weeks, that's almost impossible.
Yeah.
right? In 5 weeks for sure, right? But this is where the 3-week open, now the 3-week open means a lot more. And so it's a little more challenging. And so I think we're just kind of in this, CrossFit has put themselves in a predicament, right? In the sense of we're trying to do one thing, which is give the affiliates the open experience, making it fun for everyone, but a challenge, affiliate friendly. And so when it was top 10% and top 25%, it was okay. It wasn't a big deal. But now it's back to top 1% or even top 0.01%, because we're talking about 30 people from 30,000, right? Which is literally 0.01%. So when we have that, it needs to be a little more robust. And so, okay, just to be clear, 2/3 is 26 people of 40. So that's exactly what's going to happen at Syndicate in general. So, okay.
Interesting little side bet there. How many people finish at Isabel?
Well, no, I don't think even 10 finish. It's like a 7-minute cap.
Is it?
It's tight.
That's aggressive. Yeah.
It's fucking tight. I don't think there's gonna be that many people finishing at all, but I don't think it matters either, right? Like, I don't think, so anyways, all right. So I like the open. I agree with Orlando and I agree with Nelson. I think it did its job for the masses, top 10%, for getting a percentage everywhere. I think they did. Kevin's listening. Kevin, do you want to come on the show? You fucker.
Get him on here.
So I thought it was, maybe it's 8 minutes. I thought I heard a time cap. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was just from ours.
We gonna go into how we view the open from the perspective of like masters athletes, because that's my tune changes a little bit differently there.
Well, it depends. I mean, yeah, sure. All right. That's what we do. We'll talk about, no one else talks about masters. We got this.
Yeah. Cause I was not stoked with the 55 plus.
So you didn't like the 55 wall walk variation in lightweights
and jumping pull-ups.
Okay. So I agree. But you can't even reference 22.3 because that's what it was a fucking repeat. So we don't get to say anything about it.
But like, I mean, I understand that. Like who cares? Like make it the same workout.
That's not how a repeat works. That's not how a repeat works. I don't disagree with you.
But yeah.
I don't disagree with you. The scaled wall walk for 55 was dumb. Now that we have 60, 65, and 70.
Break it there.
Well, there needs to be more adjustments, right? I've always said this for something like the bar muscle up, like for 22.3, a better workout would have been like 15, I don't know, 10, 5, 15 pull-ups, 10 chest to bar, 5 bar muscle ups. Yeah. Right. And the weights maybe somewhere in the middle. But then for 70 plus, that's a fucking terrible workout. And the workout should be jumping, pull-ups, chest to bars. Right. Yeah. And so someone asked Dave on this most recent review, you know, can we is this time to start making better adjustments for the age groups? The answer has been yes. But the reason why the answer wasn't always yes was because at one point 55s were no fitter than our 70s right now. Right. 10 years ago when they started this. So I think it is
like I said, like I understand the sanctity of the repeat and like we're repeating, but I think it's just blatantly clear, like you said, and I don't even think it's 10 years. Like I think it's like from a 55 plus perspective, like growing at an exponential rate in terms of the athletes that are funneling in there and like how long they've been doing CrossFit for. I just don't see why you couldn't change like the rep scheme and like
the problem is they've never done that. They've never changed rep scheme. They've only ever scaled movement patterns. Right. Yeah. And that's because that's the order of scaling when you go through the masters thing. It's always change the movement pattern first, keep the volume the same. It's always like that first.
Do you think
never
that
change volume?
Holds the same stimulus for the test?
Well, if you look at the times finished, yes.
That's what I was going to bring up, is that none of the times are faster than any of the fastest elite times.
Right. But who was saying this? Who was saying it recently? Hold on, let me think. I was listening. Oh, Training Think Tank. They were talking about this too. And they made a good point of as important as like when you aging is to sustain muscle mass, right?
Right.
And sustain dynamic expression of force, right? Like that's what's going to keep you young and increase longevity. But with these adjustments, it's showing that they're deprioritizing strength in the older age groups, which we've always known they have, right? Like, but because the age group is getting better, right? Or they're staying as good, right? Because I mean, there's 55-year-olds that are as good as 45-year-olds, right? You know, and so this is the problem, right? And so I agree it should be different. I think the scaled wall walk was dumb. I think they should have just done 3. Like just give them 3 wall walks.
Change the volume a little
Right?
bit.
Like just change the volume and do everything else the same. All right, Gus. I agree. It's almost all, but 75% aren't going to finish Isabel. I don't think so. Regardless, either way, so it doesn't matter.
Real quick.
So Larry said, at the same time, if you're not fit, it doesn't help. But Larry, you can RX everything, maybe not double, but you can do all the things. The problem is, as someone who isn't strong enough, literally doesn't matter how fit they are, they can't do a bar muscle up if they can't do a pull up. Like you can run a 5-minute mile and you can do 100 burpees in 5 minutes. But if you can't do 5 strict pull ups, then you're never getting over that bar. Right. And so like, this is the thing. And so why strength is still the most foundation point. Now it's just a baseline of strength to now do all the other shit. And then it becomes deprioritized for an extended period of time. And then at the very top, it becomes reprioritized. Right. And so that's how it works, right? Like you need baseline of strength to manipulate common weight loads, deadlift, power clean, power snatch, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and enough strength to be efficient cycling a barbell and doing gymnastics and manipulating the dumbbell. And then it becomes deprioritized for, from 85 percentile to like 97 percentile. And then it becomes reprioritized again, because that's where the biggest separators are, is like, now they're just manipulating the bar that feels like it's 5 pounds instead of feels like 55 pounds. Right. And so like, those are the differences, but strength is still the base.
Which, on a side little tangent, is like probably my favorite thing about CrossFit. I think that's just the coolest concept ever, of like being like, oh my God, how am I going to thruster 135 pounds to like, okay, how many can I hold on to unbroken at like 135? Right. But that's an aside.
All right. What's next? I sent it to us.
Yeah.
All right. So how are the tests? I think we talked about that. All right. Changes. So if we were to make one change to improve just one, not to one to each workout, you just get one change to any workout, what would you change to improve the test for however you feel like it needs to be improved? Right. Like that could be testing for, let's define how we're going to improve it. Testing for the masses, or testing for the top 1%, or getting into TFX, or whatever it is.
Man, just one thing.
Thank you, Gus. That was a good idea. Gus told me this one. So that is a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just make 25.1 an A and a B.
25.1. Okay.
Yeah. Like, and maybe make it like similar to that kind of like WFP workout that just came out, not comparing the two, but like make it, instead of maybe a true like 1 rep max that can really skew it, if we're trying to like find that fittest top 1%, make it like a 10-minute AMRAP, rest 1, 2, 3, I don't know, X amount of minutes, let's say 3. And then it's like 4-minute max rep, clean and jerk, or since it was a clean jerk with a dumbbell, maybe it's a snatch or something at like 185, 125. So it's testing strength, but it's also testing your ability to move moderately to moderately heavy loads more than once.
All right. I like it. Lando.
I would just increase the weight on 22.3. Even if you wanted to.
You did, because it's a repeat. No, 22.3. Okay.
Yeah, or 23 or 0.5.
Like the last one?
25.3.
Yeah.
Okay.
25.3. Yeah. I would just increase the weight. I think you could have left the deadlift weight there the same, but if you make the barbell even 155 135 changes everything.
In terms of making it lighter, or are you saying for the power cleans?
Yeah, so if it was like 225, 155, 135.
For sure. Oh my gosh.
Changes everything. Like having to do those snatches at 135 changes. And that tests strength, right? You'll get the people that need to.
Right. So I think there's a couple ways. Mine was, I said this on the show, but it was basically taking one barbell in also I think 3 barbells in the open. I think it was the logistic. Lando said the logistics were easy, and I think for people who didn't care, it wasn't easy. But the 5-foot logistics in the open are dumb, right? I think it's not. I don't know. It's a pain in the ass, right? The 5-foot from the wall to the rower screen, barbell, etc. Like someone judging, someone changing the bar. The judge can't change the bar. Like it was kind of a pain in the ass.
Well, it didn't say that the judge couldn't change the bar, did it?
It says no, but you shouldn't. The judge shouldn't be changing your bar, right? I mean, everyone's judge changed their bar, but they shouldn't be, right? So mine would have been, you go 25, same workout, 25 deadlifts at 185, 20 power cleans at 185, and 15 power snatches at 185, right? And so what this does, this creates a full stop gate, 100% based on strength. So if you can't get there, it's still an aerobic capacity test, right? It's not just a barbell cycling test, right? It's a barbell cycling and strength test. You know, like if you can snatch 185, then you snatch 1, right? And it's just like very similar to 17.3, right? The chest to bar snatch 1, or any of the workouts that we liked the most over time, which is the squat clean, or the squat clean toe to bar double under, right? Or the box jump clean and jerk, right? Power clean and jerk, right? Ascending ladder. And so I think a 185 bar, 25 deadlifts, right? It's still there. A lot of people can do it, and a lot of people can do it really, really fast, right? Because now, and a lot of people can clean 185, 125, right? A lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But a lot of them might be stuck there for in taking 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes.
And then trying to power snatch, they're going to be throttled.
Right. Exactly. And so we've had 225 snatches. It was similar. I just think it was there. And I would have liked to see not just a barbell capacity piece, but a true bottleneck of load, like ascending style, old school, right? Like very obviously 23.3 was there, but before then, what was our last one? 20.4, right? That was our last true bar, besides 23.3. But I just, that's what I said the repeat should have been the whole time. I think that would have been a very, very good repeat. And then Castro creates another thruster pull up variation, of whatever it might be. And so
I think something else to and this is maybe just more of an issue with the whole 1% concept overall, is I mean, it's just interesting. And I know Hiller's been on kind of a recent tirade with all checking these top 1% scores. And there's no way to say that doesn't happen when it was top 10%. But the difference between the dedication of an athlete and the path and history of an athlete in the top 10% versus one in the top 1%, I feel are vastly different. And that kind of sucks too.
Yeah,
but it
does. I mean,
in a more format of
right. That's a tough one for sure, because people are just going to cheat. But it was top 10%. It didn't matter. There was,
because if they're cheating, it's because they can't do a bar muscle up and they're saying they did one,
right?
But not you're putting up top 1% scores.
Yeah. I think 185, I think that would have really challenged everyone, even top 1%ers finishing the workout.
Oh yeah. I mean, do you keep 5 wall walks?
Yeah. Everything stays the same. Everything just goes 25, 20, 15. But if you want to talk about muscular endurance, check. Strength endurance, check. Power endurance, check. Right? I think I don't know. I think it would have been a really good
Yeah,
one.
that sounds fun. I like that a lot more than the open workout personally.
I thought they were gonna do like once I heard the Isabel, I was like, they gotta have a heavier snatch, right? Like just in the way we've always seen things program is like you hit something close. Yeah, because normally like they'll do like the chest to bar snatch workout, and then you go to the regionals, or you have a heavy snatch, right? They always progress in a way.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but that's when like Castro said it on 2 weeks ago, not this Monday, the Monday before. The rumors are out there. I'm not going to say if any of them are true, but the workouts have been written for months. I'm assuming the workouts were done before they even knew what the season was going to look like. Like before they reached out to, for sure, before they reached out to NorCal, they didn't reach out to NorCal until like January, right? Yeah. So I don't think they'll ever know again. I think there will always now be a disconnect. That story is not going to be as seamless, in my opinion, as it has in the past, right? Yeah. No one cares about only Nelson. Nelson, who's winning the UNC game? I know you're watching it.
They were down by 20 at one point.
Oh man, aren't they terrible? Didn't they limp in?
They limped in and then
they were the final four in, right?
They're the last four in, yeah.
Last four.
And it was like
I don't understand that. How did their last four in, but they're an 11 seed?
Yeah, because for the last four in, one is an 11 seed and one plays for the 16 seed. And the majority reason for that is because like you get automatic bids for winning your conference. But like if you win your conference, but you come from a really crappy conference, you're going to be like a 15 seed versus like if you're a first four team in, but and you're from like the ACC or something, you play in a harder conference, you'll get to be a higher seed if you're like that first four in. However, they should not have been one of the first four in. It should have been like Indiana or somebody else or West Virginia because UNC is bad this year. But pretty good. They are losing to Mississippi State 66-61. So they tighten the gap for sure. Maryland are beating Grand Canyon University.
What'd you say?
I said I got an interesting question.
I'm ready.
Go for it.
Does the Open change your approach to next year's programming?
Oh, that's always
like last year's. Because I would say no, because it looked like last year's.
Yeah, honestly, it does.
So no. No, I think we still do the same thing because I think when we try to game it too far, then we get burned. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
I just know people are thinking that, right? They're gonna go like, I just need to do more capacity work, right? And they're gonna spend the whole year.
That's a broad thing to say, and B, like you will get fitter doing that, and that is what the Open is for sure. Like that will get you better at the first workout, like
right.
Now,
do I think more fucking people watching this podcast named Kevin Schutz need to do way more burpees? 1 million fucking %.
You did a lot.
Do I think a lot of high level athletes skip out on the basis of like something simple like box jump efficiency, burpee efficiency, like even barbell cycling efficiency? Yeah, I think a lot of people miss that kind of stuff, right? And so no, but I don't know. Gus had a Gus. Oh no, I almost beat Gus. Gus got me by 1. Gus, you just need to keep the bar on your shoulders. Gus does floating thrusters. The bar is like rising in the bottom of the squat. All right, let's stay on topic. Okay, so we made our change. What's next? I don't even know. I'm not organized today. I just wanted to get on. I missed this morning. I felt guilty. What's next?
What's next? Yeah. So I mean, Community Cup, next big thing for us, like people not making semifinals. So yeah, I mean, like I'm super stoked for it in theory. Like I think we've all like, we don't need to say it anymore, but like it has not been pumped up well by CrossFit as much as like the Open has. But I think it's a really cool idea. And yeah, I mean, it's what does your season look like in terms of the off season? What do you start working on? When do you start working on it? So we've created our Community Cup off season program that's kind of split tracks a little bit. CJ, do you want to talk a little bit about that split?
Yeah, I mean, so basically we're preparing athletes for semifinals, and which is in fucking like 9 days.
Yeah.
And just way too close. But it is what it is.
Wasn't it like that the first year though?
No,
In like
not like
one-
this. It was for team. Team was like 2 weeks after, and then individual was 2 weeks after for that, and then masters was 2 weeks later. Right. So like it was still 6 weeks, but I don't know. It's I would almost rather it have been like the following week instead of like this like weird 2.5 week thing, because then it really challenges the programmers. Like, all right, well, now we have to do the open and like figure out how to keep them training really high through the open instead of like this like semi deload sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's just like a weird amount of time.
It does kind of like it would make the programming a little bit too predictable, I think. Because like if it's immediately following 25.3, you can more or less assume what's exactly.
Well, CrossFit's riding the Masters. So
right.
It's not Legends. I found that out. Legends doesn't have anything to do with the qualifier. And I was like, what? Thank you. And so it is, I think it's going to be predictable in the sense of like it will use the open as parts of the test. Now, if you just assume that Boz rode it last year, quarterfinals, and Boz is riding it this year, of the things that are tested, you can probably just assume that he doesn't really give a shit, right? Like if, there was a lot of burpees tested. Well, there's a lot of burpees tested in workout 1, and then they did 150 and 150 wall balls, right? So, you know, I think you
mile of shuttle runs.
What?
The mile of shuttle runs.
You know, we can guess. I mean, but anyways, it's next week. It starts next Thursday, the following Thursday. So 13 days. And so we have, I don't know, 25, 30 people prepping for that in our template track, and then some one-on-one athletes prepping for it as well. And then all of our other athletes are rolling in starting Monday, a community cup cycle, right? And so 2 things with the community cup cycle. 1, this time of the year is usually our time of the year to stop doing a lot of CrossFit and start running, doing jump work, rotational work. And this is usually what we do. So instead, what we're going to do is just shift into basically a 12-week cycle to prep for the community cup, which is just another competition. And it doesn't need to be any more like complicated than that, right? We rode a cycle. Well, Orlando rode a cycle, and so it's just going to be a 12-week, a lot of strength bias, right? A lot of prep stuff for kind of like a mix between the open and quarterfinals, us trying to predicting what it's going to see, and just building strength and using it as sort of like this hybrid off season into a short competitive week as well. Yes, Camille, it's okay to do the semis and the community cup. Don't worry. Camille just wants to, guys, Camille dropped an 8th in the last workout to qualify for semifinals. An 8th.
Her time, I was like, no way. I think you told me to guess her time, and I guessed her timing. You're like, fuck you. She was like 4 minutes faster. I was like, what?
Nuts. An 8th on 25.3.
Awesome.
And then snuck in at like 190th. So she gets to do the quarterfinals, which is dope. So cool. So sick. So yeah, Lando, do you want to talk about what the Community Cup entails for our athletes?
Yeah, so we just designed this. So normally we go, like CJ said, like strict strength and unilateral work and stuff like that. So we're going to change focuses here because I think there's probably going to be a lift in the Community Cup. Like I think that's where the lift is coming. And it's probably going to be just a little bit more complex just because I think when you're going against your own level, the test can be a little chaotic because then you're only testing against the people within your level, and it's not a big gap between somebody who's really good. So I think they're going to do that. So we're just going to really prioritize just strength and just work on technique again, right? We haven't most people didn't snatch or clean or do percentage work or squat very much, right? Because they did the workout Friday, rested, did it Monday, felt fatigued. Open just takes a hit on training anyways for most people. So get back into that stuff, work on gymnastics, strength, and really try to get our skills back. And then what we did was we're going to do 5 weeks of like a base field. So basically working on the foundation of movements, getting improving movement patterns, things like that. Then we're going to go into an intensity phase. And this is just where we start to see more intervals, more percentage, higher percentages on the lifts. And then after that, we're going to go into like a competition prep phase. You don't need a long time there, but this will be like where we actually test all the stuff that we did for the phase building up. And then we're going to actually just get you guys ready to what it feels like to compete again. The competition is a little different because it's 3 workouts in 5 days. It's not 1 every week. So that's a different stimulus.
Am I right in hearing that they're releasing them a week early? Like for and allowing you.
Can I share this page? This is information that I didn't know, that I just found out like literally 5 seconds ago. Can I share this? We can talk about it.
Ahead.
So as of March 20, this is weird. I don't think this was supposed to be released yet. That says March 27th, right? So I was just looking on the page and I scrolled to the bottom and it said calling all affiliate owners. Boz isn't programming it. This is cool. And I think this is amazing. So CrossFit affiliate owners, time to put your coaching experience. People will be entering workouts. If you're an affiliate owner, you have the opportunity to create a workout to be featured, bragging rights, blah, blah, blah. What is the cup? Who can participate? Blah, 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 blah. Choosing the winners. You can submit a program. 100%. Kevin, submit a program. All right.
Yeah.
So choosing the winners at the close of the contest, 3 workouts will be chosen. So all be from affiliate, which is awesome.
Is it all from one, or are they picking different affiliates to write each one?
It'll be 3. I assume it'll be 3 different people that get picked.
Got it.
Programming consideration. The workout must include common equipment and within a reasonable space. Affiliates must be able to run the workout with multiple heats within a full hour-long class, which means that there will be nothing 20 minutes immediately if they want to be able to do multiple heats in an hour-long class. The design will be to be done in a class setting, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, so 15 minutes and less.
Classic maybe. CrossFit is encouraged. Couplets, triplets, or chippers. Common equipment. So basically, this is what we're going to be using. Okay, which is what we said. There's no bikes, skiers, rope climbs, or GHGs, which was what we said when we were writing it. I think this is awesome. I didn't know this at all.
This is a cool idea.
This, like for the podcast, I was just looking it through, and
breaking news.
Breaking news. That's podcast. Right. Should we change the name? New news for the Community Cup. Anyways, I think it's cool that they're going to do that, but basically, if they're saying this is encouraged, this is what we're going to see, right?
Yeah.
Like we're going to see some like traditional, almost named workouts ish. Now kettlebells are here, which is interesting. We haven't seen that in a while. There's going to be no video review. There's going to be none of that. So, always keep that in mind as we're writing programming and things like that. But, everything, it's just going to, it's going to look like open workouts. So, I don't know. I thought it was pretty neat as we were kind of.
But also, double check me. I'm pretty sure I read for the Community Cup that the workouts will be released to the athletes a week ahead of time. But I could be wrong.
I think you're right. I read that somewhere.
So that's it too.
Yeah, I think it'll be dope. I think it's gonna be fun.
Cool.
Lando, does that change your thoughts on writing at all?
No, not really.
I feel like if anything, it confirms it.
Right.
Yeah, we're like on a really good, like that even makes it like the way we've written out all the workouts for the week. I'm like, oh, we fit those perfect. So
yep. I agree. All right. So let's see. So anyways, if you guys are going to do the Community Cup, I broke it before spin. Look at that. Amazing. I don't think this was something to break, to be honest. I feel like this is
cool though. I mean,
yeah, it is cool. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So let's see. I did it Wednesday. Oh, you guys are talking about something else. All right. What else is on the docket? I think that's it to go over. What do we think the semifinals is going to have? What do we think Masters semifinals is going to look like?
I mean, I think I mean, they did bring muscle ups last year. So like I think in some capacity we see that again, but maybe in a like get to the end and do like a dense amount, especially if like, we're hearing like Boz just like, that's kind of his thing, like a bottleneck kind of deal.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like we could see something like a shuttle run. I think that could be something that we see there.
Sure. No shuttle runs last year, right?
Yeah.
Long
rowing was what we saw last year. So yeah, I think that could be a good switch up for that.
Long rowing? Did we?
Not a long row, but like the snatch workout, like had like, you were on the
50
rower.
cows.
Yeah. It went up, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think we see a super high volume of wall balls again. Maybe with like something else. Just trying to think.
We see something super short, like what was it, 30-30-30? Like a power expression test.
No, not like that. That's a very Legends thing. Very Legends thing. So Legends isn't writing it, right? So I think we see something more of like the row burpee box jump over power snatch that we saw in quarterfinals last couple of years, or like 21, 22, something like that.
Yeah. That's still power expression though. Like
not
that's
the 30-30-30 was like front squat thruster burpee or whatever it was. Right? Like that's like, that's very.
I like the one that you're talking about, like the 30-20-10, like way better than the 30-30-30 test.
You think we see like row climbs, GHDs and stuff?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
for sure. 100, all of it, 100%. I think it's like something. I think you could see they don't repeat quarterfinal workouts ever.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah,
they've added the older, tougher workouts. They've added them as quarterfinal workouts.
Right.
For individual or for masters?
For masters.
They
did the
it's one of the things where like the bank is getting old enough now of the test to where like it's because I
look at some of the old masters tests and I'm just like, fuck, like the what was it, 5 rounds of like 25 chest to bars, 5 cleans at like 245.
Yeah,
there was one
fuck?
Like 2018 or something that I remember seeing that was just like obnoxious.
The shoulder to overhead ring muscle up.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah,
that was 19. That was 19. That's
that was a really good workout, but it was tough.
Yeah. I loved, what was it, 3 years ago? It's hard to remember semis and quarters, but the like 300 double unders, 100 power cleans, or whatever it was. Do you guys remember that? It was like 75, maybe 75 power cleans, 300 double unders. Sweet. Oh, look at Larry. Thanks, Larry. 185 on 0.3 is the sweet spot. Thank you. Who programs masters? So last year it was just Legends that did semis, and then Boz did quarterfinals. I found out that Legends isn't doing quarterfinals this year, which I can't imagine Dave is going to do it. So I'm assuming that means that it's Boz. That would be my guess. Boz has done like most of the online qualifying for a lot of years now, like outside of the open. At least that's like what we've been bred to assume. We don't fucking know. That's just like we have no idea, right? But if you just take the nuance of like things that Dave has said, the rumblings that you've heard through, if you have any feelers into HQ and things like that, it's just
once the workouts come out, though, I feel like it'll be pretty easy to tell who wrote them.
Right now. I mean, I feel like Dave is just writing a little different right now for sure. Like
he is. I mean, that is true. Like, yeah, and I mean, I brought that up today in conversation. Like, outside of this, just like I feel like his style of writing has changed like dramatically since like 2019, like to now.
Feels a little soft.
Well, I mean,
it just feels more just like. I mean, I hate to say it, but like almost kind of like boring, not holistically, but there have just been some where it's like even the longer ones were like more fun. I don't know.
Well, so, and this is like going into do they listen? Like, does CrossFit listen to the athletes? Blah, blah, blah. Is it safe? Just look at workouts. One, before 2017, every single workout was done in the sun outside.
Sure.
Which already made a difference, right? Now, is the Coliseum fucking dope? 1,000,000%. But it's different. Working out in air conditioning is different. No matter if it's in the night, middle of the day, it's just different. So workouts just become a net easier. They're just by definition easier when the sun isn't beating down on you, right? And so, but workouts, especially teams, I know we don't really care about teams, but like team workouts like in 15, 16, 17, you know, like I know they might have been terrible to watch, but they were fucking grueling. Like they were more terrible to watch, but they were
especially when
grueling.
there's
Like
six
carrying
months.
the fucking I don't know, the safety thing, whatever, or like having to swim with the buoy. Like that shit was so hard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, I
And
mean, from a safety perspective, like for sure, like I feel like it might be like a gross misstep to be like, oh, like they just have never cared. But from like a programming standpoint, I mean, you know, it is kind of cool to see like the evolution of where he's gone. And like my personal preference is I feel like 15 to 19/20 was like the sweet spot of really hard, but also pretty unique and like well-rounded tests. Like prior to that, there were some that were, I was listening to like one of the Mayhem podcasts today, and they threw out an open workout. Like, I don't even remember, but it was like the one that opened with 7 muscle ups.
Yeah.
15.3.
Yeah. And it was just like, that's kind of a weird test. So I think like prior.
Sounds fucking supposed to be. That was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Exactly how it's supposed to be.
That workout was hard.
It was so hard.
Yeah.
So, but ever since they left Carson, workouts got easier because half of them were inside, and that just makes a total difference, right? Grueling hard workouts are also less fun to watch most of the time. And the concept of who can finish, which is what it was in the past, versus like it's the same thing. It's who can finish or who can finish the fastest. But it used to be more so on who can just finish this, versus who is gonna finish the fastest. Now, I don't know if that's a direct relation to the programming or the fact that the 30th fittest person at the CrossFit Games is fitter than 2014 Rich, right? And so like this is where the difference is like, is it that the programming has changed that much, or has the field just gotten that much better? And it's, without becoming ridiculous, is it just to keep up with them? Is this just the byproduct of that?
Which an interesting thing is like, and I'm not saying Rich is like doing this to like spite that notion, but it is obviously like something that's been questioned, but like kind of like a funny thing for him. And now all of these semifinals to throw in Heavy Isabel, which is like a really good workout for him that will showcase, I mean, not necessarily like how fit he was like even then, but like
I don't know, it's pretty close. There's gonna be very few people that beat fucking 5,
yeah, exactly, which I think is pretty freaking sick.
Oh yeah, but that's, I mean, you know, but he's not programming Mayhem Classic, right? Like I think
but he's obviously heavily involved in it.
But Angelo's leading it. It was Angelo's idea to pull it in, and then JR just happened to be doing it too. And then they were like, all right, let's spread our seed everywhere. So how do we get on that topic? Programming. Oh, Dave versus Boz and what it's going to be like. We'll for sure see muscle ups. I think we see something similar to that third workout from last year, that like rope climb, GHD, muscle up thing that like had a bunch of fucking variations in it, or like a bunch of fucking movements.
Pat saying that Rich was going against a bunch of plumbers and that's why he's the fittest in history.
I think people had jobs when they were going against Rich. Now most of the athletes train 100% of the time with no other commitments.
Hold
on. Wait. What did you just say?
I'm saying like you probably didn't get it because it's more of like an NBA thing, but it's like a common debate of like players back in the day were so good and they're historic, but like the argument is they were going against plumbers and like, you know, mailmen and stuff. So I was just making that joke. But,
Are you trying to say Rich isn't the greatest? Is that where this is going?
No. I'm saying that like
your job is on the line here. There's one answer.
Yeah. I mean, I think like
still look at some of those
with his field. Like this is a sport, especially too, where like even if they had other jobs, like he does really well now. I do think it's an interesting thing with him compared to like Matt, but that's another topic for another show, I guess, where my job is not on the line.
No, I mean, yeah. What were you saying, Orlando?
Yeah, I was saying like if you look at the old Central East men, like they're still pretty.
Oh yeah.
Like to this day, they're still doing really well. So.
Yeah, Scott didn't Scott qualify for Syndicate?
Probably. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like
Dude,
11?
Ben was at a semifinal last year, or Ben was at Syndicate last year. Like, and he was Mid-Atlantic.
Ben who? Smith?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So like, I mean, it still holds. I mean, it's such an interesting concept. Just like once you maintain a level of fitness, all you have to do is maintain it, and you're just still so freaking fit.
I agree, and this is why I will. I mean, we can talk as long as you guys want, but this is why I think, John's like, I think Tia's done. She's gonna walk out at Torian. I think he's fucking dead wrong. Dead wrong.
Yeah,
Tia
she
can be
happens to be able to set a high rocks world record. She's still insanely good at CrossFit.
Tia could starve herself for a month and win the CrossFit Games. All right, because of what you just said, like because she's reached a certain point, her sustaining it takes 10% of the effort.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to win the CrossFit Games again without a doubt.
Yeah, she'd only have to lift like 2 months away from the games and she'll be back to.
Right. Yeah. So,
that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, like, who's really up to challenge her now?
Well, I mean, Laura's not in.
Right.
Emma's not in.
Right.
So it's Danielle, Brandon, Alexis.
Like this.
I don't know. I feel like there was someone else. Stop.
Where'd she finish at the games?
I mean, she podium, but still, she's not going to podium again. Bethany. I mean,
you have the title until you don't. I mean,
I guess so. Anyways, I think Tia's gonna be fine. I still think the High Rocks thing is a marketing ploy over everything. That's my thought. I think there's twofold. Alex Gazan, thank you, Lito. That's who I was that's who was in my head. I couldn't get him out. I think the High Rocks push for Tia was twofold. Very on the same verge of her bobsled, doing something different, trying to get it in, but also because it's so close to the season, in them hiring James Kelly, him basically on the way to be the best high rockster ever at this point and probably sustaining it for a period of time. He's probably going to break the world record in the next year or two. And
does that mean he gets a free ticket to the CrossFit Games too?
I don't know. Well, I don't think High Rocks was a thing when Hunter got the free ticket.
No, it wasn't. But...
it was 2020 or 2019. It was 2017 is when it started. But I think it was wrapped in a huge marketing ploy for Proven in their High Rocks program. Personally, like it overtook everything. Because like even when she was doing the bobsled thing, like she just didn't post that much on social media, right? But like signing with LSKD and making, I mean, everything about Proven stuff was about High Rocks for the past 2 months, like before the Open started. Everything, right? Pushing the program. I think it was a mix. I think there was like, oh, hey, let's do this to push it, and then it's like, oh wow, we're actually pretty good. Let me call this girl who's really good and see if we can like break the world record. And they break the world record on their first attempt together, right? Yeah. So I think it's a dual thing, right? Her competitive insanity and the fact that she is truly one of the fittest athletes to ever roam the planet in, I think, all aspects of fitness defined by whoever wants to define it.
I'd agree, yeah.
And the fact that I think it's just like the best marketing play ever for a program, like outside of CrossFit.
I like this take from Aaron. I think Alexis is dangerous if healthy.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that it was so impactful every year. Like I knew, like obviously I think a lot of people have known about it, but the fact that like it's pretty much guaranteed to have a flare up at big competition.
And flare up happens, like from what I've been told, like it's 3 weeks of very little intensity and like a lot of like functional bodybuilding.
Functional bodybuilding for the win. All right. You guys got anything else? Lando?
No.
Hey guys, if you are trying to get ready for the Community Cup, or just want to join a training cycle, scan the QR code over there, right down there. All right, join WODprep. We have a great program. Last question: is Tia losing anything on? She probably is, but again, right? Like it's relative, right? Like relative to the field, it doesn't matter.
And it's easy to get back. It's like a 4-week training block.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So yes, she is, but she'll get it back way before the games. If you guys want to join a training cycle, join WODprep. Us three are in there. Lando and Nelson wrote an amazing Community Cup cycle. We're prepping the athletes for semifinals. If you're an individual going to individual semifinals, we'll have a track for that too, that I'm writing with Kevin, the owner of Coda, who is doing an affiliate semifinals and prepping for NorCal as well, which we have a few individual athletes doing that as well. So if you guys are looking for some template type training with a lot of coaching interaction inside of our group, scan the QR code, join the group, or DM me on Instagram, and we will see you guys later. We'll be back next week, Tuesday morning. Did I have any coffee? I did have coffee today. Oh yeah, over there somewhere. Point down. Candlestick coffee.
Well, we do that.
Other way. This way. There we go. It's always hard.
You should put like arrows on your computer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just like there. That's funny. Is Coach Lando also Coach L?
No.
Y'all are good buddies though, right?
Yeah. I used to work with them and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks guys. We will see you on the flip side. Peace.
Peace.